Okay, so let's talk about the meaning of selling. Now, this is really important here for you to be able to get a good understanding of what selling is really about. Because if you think about kind of the perception that most people have about salespeople, right? It's about them being aggressive, them just wanting to make a sale. But if you look at it from the perspective of the salesperson and how they can more effectively and more efficiently close more deals, well, they have to take a different outlook and remove the thought process of just trying to close a deal no matter what and replace it with providing the best possible solution to that individual prospect so that they can become a paying customer, paying client if it makes sense, right? Selling is about serving your prospect with the best possible solution for their particular problem. And if your product or service doesn't solve their problem, then recommending them to somebody else that can help them solve that problem, right? It's all about the prospect. You want to remove yourself from the outcome, remove yourself from just trying to make a deal, because when you're aggressive, they can sense it through your tonality, through how you're coming across, and they're going to get turned off. Because remember, and I'm going to repeat this throughout this course, people love to buy, but they hate to get sold. They wanted to make it sound like it's their decision. So you want to position your product or service and present it in a way so that that prospect makes a buying decision and they are completely convinced that they made that decision by themselves, right? And that you didn't have any pressure on them making that decision. It was their own decision. They made it and you really had very little to do with it, right? But what you're doing on the other side of that is that you're discovering the pain. You're helping them discover what that real problem means to them. Because a lot of times when somebody tells you their problem, that's very surface level. It's your job to get to the core of that and to really paint a picture of what their life would be like if they had your product or service, how it would be better, so that they can essentially convince themselves why they need your product or service and make that decision on their own, right? So you really need to listen to the prospect whenever you're asking questions and understanding where they're coming from. As I just mentioned, people will tell you their problem and they'll tell you surface level stuff. So it's up to you to ask questions that will uncover that core, right? Tell me more about that. What's important to you about this, about that, about what you just said, right? And one of the other things to keep in mind, and this is just for like humans in general, when is the last time that you have had somebody really sit down and listen to you, listen to your problems, and just hear you out? That's one of the biggest things that is missing in a lot of salespeople, is their ability to just shut up and listen to the prospect spill their beans. And so when you allow yourself to ask really deep questions, open-ended questions, so that you can get your prospect to sit there and tell you how they're feeling, why they're feeling this way. And when you're able to do that, the prospect sees you as more understanding, as actually being somebody who is interested in what they have to say, right? Selling is about serving. And you're not serving if you're just trying to sell your product or service to just anybody just because they have a pulse, right? It's about understanding the needs, the desires, and making sure that your product or service fits what they're looking for. So that's going to be it here for this video, and we'll see you on the next one.